Hi, welcome back, beautiful people. It is your girl, Tando Manaka, and I am Media Mom. And if you are returning, welcome back. If you are here for the very first time, welcome to the crew. And I hope you stick around, like, subscribe, do the things, you know what to do. So, guys, I haven't done that intro in a while, but we are at the very end. At the end, yay, of the system thinking and root cause analysis kind of series. I don't know. We're going to call it a series. Either way, it's going to be a playlist. You'll find the playlist and you can enjoy it. It's just 3 videos. I try to keep it short and cute. But let's get into it. Right now, we're going to get into the application of root cause analysis and systems thinking as a blended kind of approach, right? Because we spoke about how these two can be used in different scenarios. Now we're going to put it into practicality and see how it plays out and how you can integrate these two into solving your problem, whatever it may be, right? Okay, cool.
Are you listening? Damn.
So here we're going to have a case study, and I'm saying case study because no, I'm not giving you any actual information. We're going to build scenarios. We're going to create a case study, right? And the scenario here, I guess, will be, let's use a retail brand. It is a online retail brand, and they are starting to see sales dropping, right? There's the scenario. Sales are dropping, and we are a digital retail brand. E-com is our thing, right? And here you could use, again, one or the two approach, or we can look at an integrated way to manage or solve the issue. So I'm first going to take you through the root cause analysis approach and then take you through a systems thinking approach. Then after that, we will kind of ground it in this integrated approach that we talk about in that two-step framework, right? Okay, cool. So here we are, root cause analysis. We've got this website. What we know is we have this website where we're selling goods to consumers, and we're seeing that sales are declining during over time or during a certain period, right? When you're doing or trying to solve for this using a root cause analysis, the first thing you want to do is investigate, right? Like I said, you're the detective. You are going to figure out where the glitch in the system is. Here is where you're going to identify what the challenge is. And through that investigation, you may come to the conclusion that, okay, checkout page is taking too long to load, and this is causing people to just abandon the page. Like, you get to the checkout, so they're adding things to their baskets, no problem. But the moment they get to the checkout, that's where the page starts to load slowly, and people start to give up. Like, they're like, okay, let me go try a different website. Or you start to, I would even go as far as saying you start to question whether the payment link is actually accurate or there's something wrong, and the distrust comes in for consumers. So this becomes a point where you're like, okay, we need to make this page run faster. So you optimize, your fix is then optimize page. So it's loading faster. So people, again, have more confidence in the process and they're able to fulfill their purchase on your website. The result, well, you've got short-term sales bounce back. Your sales are coming back up. And at least for the moment, we can rest and be sure that we're going to fulfill, or these sales will be fulfilled on our website, right? And we've kind of solved the problem. Now, when we get into the systems thinking approach, the way we view the problem is slightly different, as I've explained before. So let's get into that. So we know with systems thinking, it's about zooming out, right? RCA, we were zooming in. Here, we want to zoom out. And that's why the approach is a lot different here. So here, the first step becomes mapping out the system. We need to have a diagram. And because I'm a visual, like I like to see the actual map. It's like a visual, how I see it in my mind. Like, obviously, other people do it differently. But I'm visualizing, right? It is a network. We see how everything is related. So, for example, on your website, like we said, we map out the entire journey for our consumers. We've got the website. We know how every page kind of interacts with one another. If people click here, it'll take them there. We map that out for ourselves, right? Once we've done that, we're able to see what the audience behavior is and also start to look at our competitor pricing. Because as we're mapping out, right, we're not just looking at our system and network, we're mapping out to consider the external market as well, right? So our competitors and things that are happening in and around our industry that influence us as a business. So we're also looking at ad fatigue, things like that, right? We're looking at seasonal demand, website UX, and again, like I said, the economic climate overall. So if we know that, for example, the economy is going through it, meaning people don't have as much disposable income as they used to have, we can expect sales to decline, especially if we're operating in a space where we don't sell any kind of essential products that people need to survive. So it's not staple foods that we're selling to people. It's more so nice to haves or added luxuries, right? Or nice to have luxuries. Um, when you're operating in that space, you need to understand where the economy is sitting. So when the economy swings back up, that's when you start to see a spike in the sales of nice to haves. But then when people are surviving the bare minimum, well, then you start to consider those types of factors, right? So external factors very important. You need to map this out and consider all of the things that are influencing behavior for your category and your products and brand. Then from there, you'll be able to discover, right? So even if it is like we identified from the root cause analysis that the website loading was slow and that was causing a dip in the sales. But now we start to, and we did fix that, right? But now we start to see that, okay, we're still not seeing ourselves boost back up to where they initially were. They're still continuing to dip or they're not quite where we need them to be. You start to see maybe this is, again, like I said, the eroded audience trust, right? So I tried buying their website, didn't make me feel very confident when I needed to check out. I'm not likely to go back very quickly, right? Until, because that trust has been eroded, right? We can also think about things like after sales support. If clients who have had a purchase fulfilled and went through the entire journey, but then we got to the end of the journey, which would ideally be advocacy, they were not satisfied because of the after sales service, right? Or things like that. So you start to think about it more broadly as opposed to just looking at a single incident. And you start to think, okay, what in our entire system is not working given the conditions of the market and environment, right? And then from there, you're able to think of a solution that is really rooted in redesigning that system, right? You've looked at the whole system, you've mapped it out. Like I said, personally, I see this working out as something you can literally see on like a big sheet of paper where it's your brand ecosystem, your competitors and their ecosystems, and then the market that influences all those things around there. And from there, you're able to rejig, create new connections, or break off connections that don't work and create connections that will work, or you want to test, or work. And that's where the redesign of an entire system will come in, right? And that is your systems thinking. I feel like the term says it for itself. But by looking at the entire system, then you're able to really solve for long-term problems. Like we mentioned before, root cause analysis does really good for quick fixes in the moment. But when we start thinking about long-term sustainability, we need to think about solving problems in a systems thinking type of approach. Okay, cool. I feel like this becomes a 3 episode series because it's very straightforward, but at the same time, and I don't want to repeat myself, right? But at the same time, it's also very important kind of way of looking at things, in my opinion, that I felt the need to share it. But I feel like I've said this a million times, and thank goodness this is the last video. But RCA and systems thinking, the way that they work together, they work in tandem, and that's where those two-step blended framework comes into play, right? Because you're looking at RCA to deliver what like I mentioned before, those quick fixes. So we go into the checkout page, we're quickly going to just fix that checkout page, right? Then we've got systems thinking on the other side where we're starting to say, okay, we fixed the checkout page, but things are not looking the way we need them to look. Okay, let's zoom out and see where exactly are the connections, links not actually doing what they need to do for us. Maybe we need to break links, maybe create new links or reinforce existing links so that they can continue to do good for us. Yeah, I lost my words there. But yeah, that's essentially it. System thinking really is about that sustainable strategy and improving that supply chain and customer experience, right? Because again, with systems thinking, if you think about it that way, over and above, like, yes, we talked about the website page and all of that, but if we zoom out and we realize that the problem with our business is our delivery, all right, that service issue, then it's like, okay, maybe we are ordering raw materials at the wrong point in our process. Should we be ordering preemptively? Should we be ordering after we've received it? Like, you start to think about different ways to work out the flow of, or even sometimes even go as far as redesigning your business model. But it's really about looking at the grand scheme of things and trying to identify what is working for the business, what is not working for the business, what is working for the campaign, what is not working for the campaign, and it's applicable across different scopes. Honestly, it's you can use this almost anywhere. I can't think of where you can't. So I'm gonna say almost. I'm gonna say almost because I'm sure there's somewhere you can't use this, but I feel like you could use it everywhere. But I'm gonna say almost just to be safe. Congratulations for making it to the end. I'm proud of you. If I could, I would give you a certificate, but I'm not qualified to do that. But just to wrap things up, I just want to say this is why that zoom in, zoom out kind of matter equally when trying to solve problems. One problem can be solved in different ways, right? There's so many ways to skin a cat, as they would say. I've never tried it, but apparently, right? Where RCA gives you those quick results and systems thinking, like we says, ensures that you're not solving the same problems over and over again in the next 6 months, 12 months, and so on and so forth. And if you found this series useful, helpful, insightful, interesting, anything, please do hit the like, the subscribe, and let me know in the comment section what kind of problems you'd like me to unpack next. And again, I have a lot of ideas of things I want to do, but I would like to know what it is you guys are interested in knowing. And I'm happy, again, I think I've said this before. If I need to learn about it, I'll learn about it. I don't mind. And then we can talk about it. Hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your scrolling, viewing. If you have nothing else to do, I have more videos. Anyway, bye.
Are you listening? Damn.